Welcome to my next 100 Season 1 episode review video. Before I talk about that, though, pretty important, if you haven't watched the first 11 episodes of the 100 Season 1, then it would be my recommendation that you don't watch this detailed review any further to avoid any potential spoilers. And full disclosure, I've already seen the 100 all the way through one time. It's one of my favorite TV shows of all time. Certainly it's in my top 20, although I do feel like it falls off in the end. Definitely the last season, if not the last two seasons. So join me on this journey. Let's discuss everything the 100 in the comments section. With that said, this will be the 100 Season 1, Episode 11. The title of this episode is called The Calm. And this will be my review reaction recap after just finishing watching the episode. We start with Bellamy, who approaches Clark outside the camp walls and asks if she thinks the bomb on the bridge scared the grounders off. She says no and he tells her that Jasper thinks he might be able to make some more gunpowder and Raven can make some more landmines. There is still no word from the Ark since the Unity Day blast, and they wonder if everyone ran out of air. Clark doesn't think anyone is coming down to save them. Marcus Kane slowly stands up from where he fell after the Exodus ship disaster. He calls out, but there is no response. Octavia and Murphy are working in the smokehouse when Del comes in, bringing more wood. Octavia tells him to knock and fire down with wet leaves, and Del insults her for being a grounder pounder. Murphy asks her why Bellamy didn't get her a better job, and she tells him that just means someone else would have had to do it. In another part of the camp, Raven is in her tent making split-load bullets when Finn enters and asks what is going on. He tells her he keeps wanting to apologize, but she tells him she needs to finish with the bullets because it is keeping them alive. They hear some of the 100 calling out fire and rush outside to see the smokehouse on fire. Murphy starts to fight Del because Del wants to put too much wood on the fire, and Bellamy breaks it up, telling them to save it for the grounders. Octavia asks him what they are doing to do, what are they going to do because it was all of their food that just burned up. After the fire's out, as they're sifting through the fire, Clark asks what happened, and Bellamy explains that Del built up the fire too much because Octavia told him it was a bad idea. Clark tells him they need to go hunting because they can't defend themselves if they're starving. Bellamy tells some of the 100 to go out in the groups with one gunner in each group and to use bullets for grounders, but the spears for their food. Miles asks Clark if she would like to go hunting with him, and she agrees. Finn then asks if she wants to go hunting, and she says she doesn't think so. Just as Miles walks up and assumes Finn is coming too, all three of them leave to go hunting. Bellamy enters Raven's tent looking for more ammo and catches her packing a bag to leave. He tells her she can't leave because if she goes alone, she will be dead or worse. He tells her that she built a dropship and a bomb, and he wants to know what else she can do. Raven suddenly thinks of making some walkie-talkies. Bellamy reminds her that they need her because she is smart and figures shit out. Marcus Kane is walking around looking for other survivors. When he hears someone singing, he follows the sound and discovers Wick from engineering with his arm trapped in a door. I like Wick's character, and I had forgot about him. I don't remember hardly anything about the 100. I remember bits and pieces of it, but it's been a while since I've watched it. Like, I watched the last season when it aired in 2020. So, Kane works to free him and tells Wick about Diana Sidney's mutiny. And then Kane then leaves to find an axe and uses it to pry the door open to free Wick's arm. They then make their way through the empty corridors of the Ark and find a group of unconscious people piled against a door. Clark, Finn, and Miles are looking for prey to hunt. Miles is chatting when Clark tells him to be quiet. Finn realizes the tracks they have been following were made by grounders, and they are the ones being hunted, just as Miles is struck down by an arrow in his leg and one in his chest. Finn tells Clark that they have to leave Miles just before he is hit over the head by a grounder. The last thing Clark sees is Anya standing over her, the leader of the grounders. Marcus, Kane, and Wick place oxygen masks on the people they found as Kane tells Wick they need to keep moving. Wick mentions the CO2 scrubbers have been kicked back on, so At least they can breathe. Marcus Kane realizes someone turned on the air from the Earth, monitoring as a message to them. Clark and Finn are led into a room in the Grounder outpost, and Anya enters. She releases Clark as another Grounder reveals a mortally injured person. She tells Clark to help this person, otherwise Finn will die. Marcus Kane and Wick lead the group of people to Earth monitoring, and Wick hooks up an intercom to get through to Jaha in Earth monitoring. Jaha tells Kane that they're all trapped in Earth monitoring, so Kane needs to take everyone to the mess hall where Sinclair is routing power and air. Kane tells him he is not leaving Jaha to die, but Jaha tells him to rescue the people on the Ark before cutting transmission. Kane tells Wick to take the people to the mess hall, but stays behind to try to free the door to Earth monitoring, as my nose keeps itching for some reason. Marcus Kane warns him that the entire deck is fire hazard, and Kane tells him that no one else can die because of him. Kane continues struggling with the debris in front of the Earth monitoring door, and Wick comes over to help him. Soon everyone is helping him move through the wreckage. Clark asks Anya why she thinks she can save, is it Trish? Triss? I can't remember the name. And Anya says that Lincoln had told her about Clark's medical experience, and since their healer is gone, that's who they're trying to help right now, they need Clark. Or no, maybe the healer was on the bridge. I can't remember now. Clark asks what happened, and Anya tells her that Triss was on the bridge when the bomb exploded. Yes, okay, that was their healer. Damn nose. Monty is working on the radio equipment they salvaged from the Exodus ship and plays Raven some weird feedback that seems to jam the drop ship's signal, causing it to crash. Raven tells him to take it apart because they need to make walkies. She also heads over to the radio to the Ark, but Monty protests. Raven tells him the Ark is not there and starts to take the radio apart just as the hunting parties return. Raven leaves to find Finn, and Murphy tells her Clark and Finn are not back yet. She then heads to Bellamy's tent and waits for him to return. When he enters, she starts to get undressed, telling Bellamy that she's moving on. Bellamy tells her that if she's looking for someone to talk her out of what she's going to do, he's not that guy. Feels like I got a mosquito bite on my nose or something like that. They then proceed to sleep together. Good for Bellamy and Raven. I love Raven, by the way. Clark asks Finn for help on lifting the injured healer up and listens to her lungs. She realizes that this person is drowning and she needs to relieve the pressure. She asks for some tubing, and Caliban finds some for her. Clark makes an incision in between the person's ribs and inserts the tube. Anya enters just then and asks what Clark has done, shoving her out of the way to get Triss' side. Jaha and Sinclair and the others are barely alive when Kane and Wick break through and bring them oxygen masks. Kane tells Jaha he saved him because they need their expertise to help everyone. Jaha thanks Kane, and Kane helps him stand up. Anya tells Clark that this healer is hot, and Clark says she is probably septic and that needs real medicine. Clark asks how Anya could send a little girl into battle, and Anya tells her that Triss was her second, and it is how they train them to be warriors. Triss starts gasping, and Clark says she needs a blood transfusion and asks for supplies. After Raven and Bellamy have sex, Raven gets up and gets dressed. Bellamy asks her if it helped, and she tells him it did not before leaving the tent. So apparently Bellamy wasn't too good. Marcus Kane tells Jaha that the whole stations may have been lost, and he estimates no more than 1,000 survivors with at least 1,500 dead. Wick and Sinclair interrupt to tell them that the service hatch was manually sealed before the launch of the Exodus ship, meaning there are survivors still in the service bay. Kane decides to go after them by going through the overheated maintenance shaft. Finn sharpens a needle for Clark, and they get a syringe ready to do a blood transfusion, but Caliban and Anya refuse to let her take their blood. Finn offers his blood up instead, and Clark preps him. She then looks for a vein on Triss and can't find one before Finn tells her or lets her know that Triss is dead. Anya takes out a knife and cuts a braid of her hair from of hair from Triss's head before gesturing to one of their warriors to remove Triss's body. She then tells another warrior to take Finn and kill him. Wick hands Kane a portable battery to hook up to a door in the service bay to get it open. Kane then climbs inside the maintenance shaft and begins his way through with the incredibly hot and narrow passage. Raven has completed the walkie-talkies. She apologized to Monty for before when with their ARC radio. Monty tells her that all of the hunters are back except for Clark, Finn, and Miles, and that they're going to go look for them. Kane pushes his way through a gate and makes it to the end of the shaft. He climbs through and sees people lying on the other side of the door in the service bay. He uses the battery to open the door and rushes inside, waking up everyone. He finds Abby curled up in the corner and tells her to wake up as she opens her eyes. Kane then holds Abby in relief. Caliban tells Clark that if she proves her worth, she will be welcomed with them because their healer is gone. She asks if she will be able to visit the 100, and Caliban tells her that after the next day, there won't be anything to go back to. Clark asks about the marks on Triss and Lincoln's shoulders, and Caliban tells her each scar is a kill in combat, meaning Triss has already killed 5 people. Caliban shows her the kill scars on his chest, saying half of them were after he hurt his knee. Clark then kicks him in the knee and uses a scalpel to slice his throat open. As he's gurgling to death, Clark covers his mouth to quiet him and watches as he dies. She then takes off into the forest and begins running back to camp. Raven and Octavia are searching in the woods for Clark, Finn, and Miles. They are communicating with Bellamy and Monty through the newly built walkie-talkies. Octavia tells Raven to stop torturing herself about Finn. Monty asks over the walkie if anyone else is hearing the signal he heard on the Exodus ship's black box. Bellamy asks if he sees anything before Monty says, "Oh my God," and then they hear a loud screech on their walkie-talkies. Raven and Octavia then hear someone in the bushes and creep closer, finding a badly injured Miles, who tells them that the Grounders took Clark and Finn. Bellamy arrives and tells them that they need to get back to camp. Bellamy radios Monty and that they're heading home, but there's no reply from Monty. His walkie is sitting on the ground and he's nowhere to be found. Clark is running through the woods and trying to get back to camp when she steps into a Grounder trap and is yanked upside down and pulled into the treetops. And that's what ends this episode of The 100. So, a fairly good episode of The 100. I'm going to give it an 8.0 out of 10. And my characters of the episode, I got 3 this time. Marcus Kane, Wick, and Clark. I think they all did really good in this episode. I mean, a lot of characters did good. Raven, Bellamy, they were good as well. But Marcus, Kane, Clark, and Wick were pretty good. So, sorry about all the nose itching. I don't know why my nose is randomly itching. It's not like I sniffed anything before this video. It's like I got a mosquito bite out of my nose, which I didn't, but it feels like that all of a sudden. So, you've heard everything that I have to say. Now it's your turn. If you're a fan of The 100 and you want to help me out with the YouTube algorithm, please make sure that you Hulk smash the like button. Share this video with a friend, especially the ones that like The 100. Put this video on any one of your social media platforms like MySpace. Don't forget to sound off in the comment section about what your thoughts are regarding this episode of The 100. What would you rate it, and who would you choose as a character of the episode? And then last but certainly not least, don't forget to hit that sub button. You're watching the video anyway. Subscribe to the channel. Help me get over 100k subscribers. Yes, I know. I set my goals pretty high. Join the team, show your damn support, and be a part of something special. And you never know what you're going to see on JDev TV.